She tried to take everything from him, his land, his peace, even his lake. She called the cops, listed his property online without permission, and thought she had finally won. But when he struck back, by buying her land and cutting off her only access road, the whole neighborhood learned never to cross him again. The sun rose over Maple Creek Ranch, a sprawling property nestled by a glistening lake. James Carter, a 42-year-old black rancher, had worked hard to own every acre. He spent years saving, investing, and finally purchasing the land where his father once dreamed of building a homestead. The lake was his pride and joy, a serene body of water where he fished, rode horses nearby, and found peace after long days. But that peace was about to shatter, thanks to one woman, Karen Whitfield, the president of the local HOA. Karen lived on the edge of the subdivision next to James's ranch. From the day James moved in, she seemed determined to make his life miserable. She complained about his fencing, the color of his barn, even the sound of his cattle bells. But her latest scheme would push things too far. One morning, James's phone buzzed. A friend sent him a screenshot from a real estate listing site. There, it was in black and white. Lakefront property for sale, perfect for development. The pictures were unmistakable. They showed his lake, his dock, and his land. James's jaw clenched. His land wasn't for sale. He hadn't authorized any listing. Scrolling down, he saw the contact name, Karen Whitfield, HOA president. James drove straight to her house. She stood watering her roses like nothing was wrong. "Karen, did you post my lake for sale?" he demanded. She smirked. "Oh, don't be so dramatic, James. That lake should be enjoyed by the community, not just you. Think of it as a civic duty. Besides, a developer is interested. It'll raise everyone's property value." James's fists tightened. "You don't own an inch of my land. Take it down now." Karen crossed her arms. "Or what, you'll call the cops? Go ahead, I already did. They'll be here any minute to check if your land boundaries are legitimate." Within 20 minutes, 2 patrol cars pulled up. Karen waved them over like she owned them. "Officers, there he is. He's been falsely claiming property that should belong to the HOA. The officers turned to James. "Sir, we've had a report about disputed land ownership." James calmly pulled out a folder. He always kept his deed and survey maps handy, just in case. "Here's the deed, signed, notarized and recorded with the county. Every inch of that lake belongs to me." The officers examined the papers. After a tense moment, one nodded. "Everything checks out. This property is his." Karen's face flushed red. "This is outrageous. He can't just hog the lake." The officer's tone hardened. "Ma'am, if you list property that isn't yours again, that's fraud. We could press charges," Karen sputtered, but the officers walked back to their cars. James locked eyes with her. "How you want a war, Karen? You just declared one." That night, James sat on his porch staring at the lake. Anger simmered, but he refused to let it consume him. Instead, he began researching. He pulled county land records, zoning maps, and foreclosure notices. And then, like fate itself, he found it. Karen's property, though large, had a vulnerability. The narrow strip of land her driveway sat on. It didn't technically belong to her. It was a separate parcel. And it was up for tax auction in just 2 weeks. If he bought it, Karen would have no legal access to the subdivision road. She'd be landlocked. James didn't hesitate. He gathered funds, called his lawyer, and waited. On auction day, Karen didn't even show up. She had no idea. With a single raised hand, James purchased the strip of land for far less than she owed him in harassment. The next morning, he erected a sturdy gate across the road. A bright red sign read, "Private property, no trespassing." When Karen came driving down, she slammed her brakes. "What is this?" James leaned casually against the gate. "This? Oh, just the land I bought at auction. Turns out you don't own your driveway anymore. Guess you'll need my permission to get out." Karen's face turned purple. "You can't do this," James smirked. "Actually, I can, and I just did." For days, Karen screamed, threatened, and even tried to call the cops again. But this time, the law wasn't on her side. Officers confirmed the parcel was now James's legal property. If Karen wanted access, she'd have to negotiate with him, or take the long, rough, unpaved back trail that added 20 minutes to every trip. Neighbors began whispering. Some laughed behind Karen's back. Others were furious that her arrogance had backfired so spectacularly. Karen stormed to an HOA meeting. "He's blackmailing me. He blocked my driveway." But when James calmly arrived with his lawyer and the deed, the board fell silent. The law was clear. Karen had overplayed her hand. The final humiliation came when the developer she'd been courting pulled out, saying, "We don't work with communities that can't manage themselves." Her dream of selling James's lake was dead. Karen eventually caved, begging James for an easement. He agreed, but on one condition. She had to formally resign as HOA president and publicly apologize for fraudulently trying to sell his land. The day she stepped down, neighbors applauded. For the first time, James felt peace on his porch again. Narrator. A voice, reflective, firm. She thought she could control him. She thought she could take his land, his lake, his freedom. But in the end, her greed cost her everything, while his patience and intelligence won the war. Never underestimate the quiet strength of someone who knows their worth and their rights. What would you have done if you were James? Call the cops right away, or fight back with strategy like he did? Tell me in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell for more unbelievable stories filled with justice, twists, and unforgettable lessons.